देखो अपने नीचे लेते हैं क्रेडिट या डेबिट अपने आप लेते हैं तो ये इससे अपने क्रेडिट डेबिट लेगा आपको कितना काम है कुछ है क्रेडिट यूनिट एक बार में क्रिएट करके पड़ेगा अगली बार में इंटरनेशनल डेबिट आपने अभी लिस्ट हम लोगों को प्रोवाइड किया है का तो जब भी कोई नया अकाउंट बनेगा तो सारे पॉजिटिव फीड में नेक्स्ट एपी नेक्स्ट एपी आ जाएगा सारा सेल्स सेल्स एक सप्ताह पूरी अगर वो नया बन रहा है उस पे एकदम फ्रेश रहेगा कोई डेटा नहीं और सारा जो भी डेटा आप लोग रिकॉर्ड कर रहे होंगे तो वो बैक में सारा जा रहे हैं तो अगर कोई भी इश्यू होता है तो आप लोग बस उसका ट्रांजैक्शन आईडी बताइएगा आप लोग उसको बैक ट्रैक कर लेंगे क्या इश्यू है आपने क्या बोला था हमारे सिस्टम में क्या सब था और उसमें से क्या आउटपुट निकला ये सारी चीजें ट्रैक होंगी ट्रांजैक्शन आईडी का जब आप एक बार ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड कर लेंगे तो रीसेंट ट्रांजैक्शन में या ट्रांजैक्शन वाली लिस्ट में नीचे छोटी सी DRX करके आईडी में अच्छा देख Receive one line from receiving.
Good morning, friend. Can you hear me? Good evening. Adil Mohammed, your name. Good evening. Can you hear me?
आप कोई भी ऐप एक तरीके से खुद से डाउनलोड करते हैं तो आप सर्च कर लीजिए उसको, उस ऐप को आपके मोबाइल में आ आपने सेव किया
You can hear me or not? Am I audible? Good evening, Adil. Can you hear me? Good evening. One more person has joined. Can you hear me? I just want to know, can you hear me? Or this is better. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Have you received the books which we are showing to you? Yes. So this question is for the first or the second. My first question was, can you hear me? Say yes or no. And second question is, have you received the books? Say yes or no. Answer in 1 or 2. Can you hear me? So yes, sir, is for the books or for hearing? So can you hear me?
यहाँ पे मैंने एक फॉर्म हटा रखा है तो जैसे जैसे पूरी टेस्टिंग आगे बढ़ेगी तो यहाँ पे ट्रैक इससे रिलेटेड टू ऑप्शन भी बढ़ते रहेंगे बट
चलिए अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now we have heard the concept of what do you get as allowances. So we have read about HRA, we have read about conveyance allowance, we read about transport allowance, we read about entertainment allowance. So those are allowances which are paid to the employee depending on the position and depending upon the contract which he has with the employer. So अब मैं हिंदी में बोल रहा हूं, जितने भी जो आपकी सैलरी में लिखा होगा, what is written in your salary is given to you. So there is an employee deductions. पहला डिडक्शन समझते हैं. डिडक्शंस होते क्या हैं? डिडक्शंस दो होते हैं. एक होते हैं जो एम्प्लॉय के एम्प्लॉयर काटता है, कंपल्सरी. इसके लिए वर्ड यूज होता है कंपल्सरी. उसमें पीएफ होता है, ईएसआई होता है और कुछ स्टेट्स में प्रोफेशनल टैक्स होता है. और चौथा है TDS। ये डिडक्शंस एम्प्लॉय के कंपल्सरी डिडक्ट होते हैं और इसमें एक स्पेसिफिक परसेंटेज कटता है और एम्प्लॉयर उसको काट के जमा करा देता है। ठीक है, hearing and book both. Okay, so let's start. इसमें पहला डिडक्शन है पीएफ का। जो एम्प्लॉयर पीएफ काटेगा वो स्पेसिफिक परसेंटेज होगा, 12% ऑफ दी डैश, वो भी स्पेसिफिक होता है, बेसिक एंड डीए। इसमें डीए जो है वो लिया जाता है, यानी कि एम्प्लॉय का बेसिक और डीए का 12% कटता है और 12% एम्प्लॉयर अपनी जेब से जमा कराता है। तो एम्प्लॉय के 12% कट गए और एम्प्लॉयर भी 12% एम्प्लॉय के आए और एम्प्लॉयर ने 12% जमा कराए, so that makes it 24%. So the employee will get 12% deducted from his salary and employer will pay 12% to compensate his provident fund and he will get 24% as a whole. But he will not get. He will get when he will retire or when he leave the organization. So, for example, I left jobs when I in 2011. So there I got my full and final. Whatever was due was paid, and whatever was paid was required. Along with the PF amount, what you get is 8% or 7% or 9% interest. Okay. So the PF is deducted. One is covered. Second is the ESI. ESI up to a certain level is payable, but beyond the employee reaches that level and above that level, the amount is not paid. Okay, so in your book, it is written as 15,000. So if your basic salary is below 15,000, you will get the ESI, and presently the percentage of ESI deduction is 1.75% on salary of employees. So employees will deduct 1.75% and employer will pay 4.5 to make it 6.5. Okay, that is second. PF is first, ESI is second, third is professional tax. So this tax is payable by the professionals, one who are doctors, chartered accountants, cost accountants, company secretaries, or whatever profession they are in. They may be engineer, whatever profession they are in. So they will have to contribute towards the professional tax, and you don't deduct or you don't pay the professional tax who is not a professional. So it represents the amount of professional tax to be paid by the employee. It is to be deducted by the employer. So the amount is nominal, 200 or 400 or 800. So that is what the amount is, and to be paid by the statutory authorities. So there you will pay the amount to the statutory authority, and professional tax is to be paid biannually. साल में 2 बार पे करेंगे या क्वार्टरली, साल में 4 बार, 4 times, or monthly. So it depends on the state to state. So this tax is payable from the employee to the state all the taxes, the PF, the ESI are the central taxes, whereas this tax is the state tax. Let us go to the fourth one. Tax deducted at source. Okay, so there the employer deducts the 1/12. So whatever is the tax due of the employee for the full year, he will deduct, because he has to deduct per month. So he will deduct 1/12 of the amount and he will pay to the statutory tax authorities. So what he will pay is 1/12 of the amount to the tax authorities. It is a deduction of the payment of income tax by the employee. The taxable income of the employee is calculated and deductions are made at specific rates. So whatever are the allowances, whatever is the salary that is paid by the employee, there the employer will calculate the tax and will deduct the tax. In India, the income tax is to be calculated for the financial year April to March. So there can be a question, what is the financial year? April to March, or March to April, or September to August, or July to June? So that can be a question. Okay. Questions हैं? Class has started at 5 o'clock sharp. Any other question from you? Give me 1 minute, I'm going to start this again. So in between, you have any questions you can ask. What you can't understand? There is a statement which says, I can't understand. What does that mean? That I am not clear or you are not clear. So please explain this. I can't understand what. What do you mean by I can't understand? Chaliye. So in all, there are 4 types of deductions. One is PFI, PF. Second is ESI. Third is the professional tax, which is applicable only in certain states. And fourth is the TDS. If the employee is getting a taxable salary, then his tax will be deducted. That is, he will get tax of 1/12 of the total tax. That means every month the employer will deduct 1/12 of the total tax. So that will account for the total tax, and the employee will get net of tax salary. Okay. Is it okay to you? You're writing, I can't understand. What does this mean? Please explain me. Okay, so we will start the session. So what are the processes for starting the payroll? What you will get and what you will prepare. So first is creation of the employee payroll data. So what you will get is the employee details. What is the employee name, employee address, employee age, employee sex, employee father's name. So you will get the basic information about the employee. You will enter that into your SAP or Oracle or Tele, whatever data you have. And then is the confidential information. So you will get to know the basic salary, the HRA, the DA, the conveyance allowance, the entertainment allowance in case he's entitled to, and so on. And in addition to this, the employee will also get how much is the PF deduction, ESI if any, TDS if any, and professional tax if any. So he will get the net amount in his hand. The payroll details of the employees should be recorded with the payroll finance. So payroll department is broken up into 2 parts. One is the HR part, and second is the finance. So the payroll data, what they get is entered by the HR department or the payroll ka HR department. And what the finance will receive, the data which they can't manipulate, they can't enter, they can't touch with. So there has to be a maker and checker in the system. The maker will make the entry and checker will check the entry. So there has to be 2 processes. One who will enter the data, one who will process the data. One person, if any, does entry and does the processing, it spoils the entire system. So there should not be one person, there should be at least 2 persons to process the payroll. By the recruitment HRT for monthly processing of payroll and the other benefits. The compensation detail of the employee as decided by the HR team would be accepted and acknowledged by the employee, and the same would be forwarded to the payroll team for further processing. what the payroll team will process, the compensation letter, and what the finance team will be processing will be the payroll process. So the HR team of the payroll would enter the data about his salary details, and what the finance team will enter the attendance data and the PF, TDS, ESI, professional tax, and what is due to the employee, and will record the entry also. Okay, that is the first information, collection of the employee information. Okay, second is, what is the basis of the payroll? The basis of the payroll is the time card. Okay, every month the payroll department would require the time card. Okay, information of the employees for calculation of salaries due to the employees. So if an employee has worked for 25 days, he will get the salary for 25 days. If the employee has worked for 31 days, he will get the salary for 31 days. If the employee has not worked, he will not get his salary. So whatever is the attendance shown, and attendance is produced by the employee, and attendance is marked by. Whatever is the attendance shown by the employee that is approved by his manager is processed. The time card information containing the leave details. So in case he has taken 2 leaves, they will be marked as absent. Overtime information. So as the employee worked for overtime, he will be marked XYZ overtime. And holiday wages. So overtime, just for the information, overtime is 1.5 times. So if you get a salary of 100 rupees per day, overtime is 150 rupees. 100 rupees is the basic salary, 150 rupees is the overtime, and the third is the holiday wages, which is double the rate. So 100 rupees is the basic salary, overtime is 150 rupees, and holiday wages is 2 rupees, 200 rupees. 100, 150 and 200 would be forwarded to the department concerned for the payroll team for a preparation of payroll for the respective month. Have you understood this? Have you understood this? Class is clear. Let me go to the next para. Before that, I want to hear from you. I can't hear from you. I have to write yes or no. Yes means understood. No means not understood. And what do you mean by not understood? You have to explain that. Yes, so good. So I move to the next para, which is collection of the time card is what you will enter and what you will receive. And third is the preparation of the payroll. So based on the employees payroll register, based on the employee compensation records and the time card. So time card is the attendance card. The payroll for the month is November or October, is prepared by calculating the employee earnings. So there are the employee earnings, basic, DA, allowances, etc. And after this, there is a gross salary. Then after this is the deductions. What is PF, what is ESI, and the balance amount is the tax deductions. And what you get, the employee get, is the net pay. Gross less deductions is a net pay. Any allowances such as the overtime, the employee will get as a premium, which is 1.5 times the basic. Holiday wages is what you get as a premium, is 2 times the basic, is added to the employer's earnings, and loss of pay for the period charged to the reduction. So what you offset is the loss of pay. That is, you have taken a leave or you were absent for 2 days or 3 days. The rest pay, the net pay to the employee is determined. Okay. Fourth is verification of the tax amount and the statutory deductions. Whatever is paid to the statutory authorities, the government, which is the PF, the ESI, the TDS, or the fourth is professional tax, has to be remitted up to a specific date. So for example, TDS specific date is the 7th of the next month. Okay. If you don't pay by 7th of the next month, even if you pay on 8th, you will have to pay the interest for 1 month. I think it is 1.5% per month. So 1.5% for the late filing, 1.5% for the short recovery, and there is 2 or 3, 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5. 234A is a section, 234B is a section, 234C is a section. So 1.5%, 3 times you will have to pay. The value of statutory deductions such as PF, ESI are to be checked with the previous month values. So you have to check whatever is the amount that is due by the employee to the authorities that you have to pay, and you will have to check from the previous month whatever is paid to the statutory authorities. This you will pay this month also. And any difference other than those costs by change in the salaries should be examined and verified. Similarly, the tax deduction should be verified. Then is record the entries. Once the payroll register is completed for the respective month, the necessary due entries for the salaries due and the salaries payment can be made in the books of account. So whatever is the salary due or the salary paid, that is recorded and that is clubbed in the month to account salaries. Next is payment of salary. Once the payroll process is complete and approved, so salary has to be approved by the finance manager. There will not be any salary which is not yet approved. Whatever is not approved is not to be paid. Whatever is approved is to be paid. The salaries can be paid out by way of bank transfers, by account pay check, or to the respective individual employee accounts by 2 methods. One is by way of account transfers, bank transfers, or second is by way of account pay check. Payment of statutory deductions which are due to the authorities by specific date. So the PF is deposited by 15th of the next month. Whatever is the, suppose the month is April, whatever is the April dues, you will pay by 15th of May. Whatever are the May's due, you will pay by 15th of June. So whatever is the statutory dues, you will deposit by 15th of next month. Once the salaries are credited to the employee's account, the statutory deductions such as PF, ESI and taxes due to the government be paid within the due date prescribed to the statutory authorities by way of checks or bank transfers. Okay, so the way the statutory authorities have put the dates. So 7th is purely for taxes. So whatever are the taxes you pay by 7th. Come next week, 15th, whatever is the employee's PF, you pay the employee PF. Come 21st, whatever is the employee's ESI, you pay by 21st. And 30th is the salary. Okay, salary date. Chalo. Issue of pay slips. So you will issue the pay slips. Once the salaries are released to the employees, the payroll team would prepare the individual pay slips and release to the employees. This is required to ensure that the pay particulars are correct for the employees. Pay slips are generally issued to salaries, regular employees. So there can be a question in regard to the pay slips. Pay slip is generally issued to whom? Is it issued to the salaried employees? Is it issued to the whole employees? Is it issued to the non-regular employees? Is it issued to the contractual employees? So there can be a question in this regard. And once the payroll process is complete and payments are completed by the due date, the statutory report, which is PF returns, tax returns, ESI returns, are to be filled in the required form with the statutory authorities within the due date. So in between some questions. Not able to see video. Beta, I don't know. There's some problem in your computer. You should be able to see. My college is evening college. So you have to speak to the institute. They may tell you only audio available. But for me, I have सिस्टम में मैंने यहाँ पर कर दिया है जो MS Teams का जो मेरे पास यहाँ पर लिंक आया है whatever is due I have uploaded in the MS Teams. So are you able to see that or no? क्या कोई किसी को दिखाई दे रहा है कुछ दिखाई दे रहा है? In books, ESI and PF. So that is where the PF and ESI. So the due date is 21st. So companies prepare in advance and PF and ESI का वो इकट्ठा जमा करा देते हैं. That is they deposit by 15th of the month. Okay. But इसमें थोड़ा सा आपकी बुक में लिखा हुआ है कि 21st तक जमा कराते हैं. But ये आप मान के चलिए 15 तक जमा करा देंगे तो भी चलेगा. That means कि it is written in the books that by 21st ESI जमा कराते हैं, but if you deposit by 15th, that is workable. ठीक है बेटा? Any questions so far? So, like you have to play two roles. One is of HR and one is of the finance. So the payroll plays two roles. One is of the HR where he enters the employee का database and secondly he processes the salary. So just to ensure, जैसे I was in HCL. HCL में हमारी process करती है EHS. वो उसमें थोड़े लोग थे HR के, some people were there of HR and some people were there of finance team. So it was a mixture of HR and finance team. So HR team would process the salary and finance team make sure that the salary is paid. Okay, can you move further? Method of payroll processes are 2 or 3: internal methods and external methods. So internal में you will do the manual payroll processing जब आपके employees respectively कम होते हैं, आपके पास 10 employees हैं या 5 employees हैं. So what you will do? You will do a manual processing. Or second is you do a computerized payroll, computerized processing. So you will process in computer. What you will get is computer and the processing is computerized. So like I was in HCL for 3 years, we used to process in computerized. We had a huge number of employees, around 3 लाख होते थे हमारे employees. नहीं, हमारे होते थे employees 30,000 या 40,000 होते थे उस टाइम पे. मैं बात कर रहा हूँ 2008 की या 10 की. ठीक है. Third is external methods where processing is done by giving it to a third party who are a specialist. So HR के भी specialist होते हैं और finance के भी specialist होते हैं. So the company employees will not know what is the salary of A or B or C, but you will ensure company ने एक ही employee रखा हुआ है या 2 ही employee रखे हुए हैं. So what they will do is they will go to the outsourcing facility and who will process the salary. So company has 2 methods: internal processing and external processing. Computerized is the way forward, but if the number of employees in the organization are less, so what you will do is you will do a manual process. When the payroll processing is carried on with the help of computer systems and software, it is termed as computerized payroll processing system. When the other systems such as attendance tracking, payment processing system are integrated with the payroll processing system, it is termed as automated computerized payroll system. So what normally companies have is the attendance record, and that is automated. So the employee, once he enters, logs in, his time is entered. Once he logs out, his time is entered. So that basis the attendance sheet is made, and on that basis that is submitted to the HR department. Okay, so there the computerized is processing happens, and that is a fully automatic. The other way is company में छोटा मोटा प्रोसेसिंग होता है. कंपनी जो प्रोसेस करती है वो कंप्यूटराइज तो करती है, but there is not automatic. So there is one process of tallying the data, one process of processing the data. वो छोटे एम्प्लॉइज या जो कम नंबर ऑफ एम्प्लॉइज होते हैं उसमें ही इस्तेमाल होता है. The company which has less number of employees uses the step-by-step computerized process. Okay. Payroll outsourcing happens like I was in GE. They are the topmost bosses. Salaries was not given to the company. There the salary was paid by the outsourcing agency. Similarly, what you have is like in US, the employees are paid by an outsourcing agency. Okay, so there the salary is processed by an outsourcing agency. When the payroll process is outsourced to a third party professional, it is known as outsourced processing system. It is cost effective. It is very much cost effective. So the salary processing takes about 3 days or 4 days, but the whole month the employees will lie idle. So what you do is you outsource to a third company which will process the salary. It has provided operational level result. Many multinational corporations outsource the payroll and its related activities to a third party professional client in order to achieve better results and also to maintain the confidentiality. There is very important, that is the confidentiality. What you will get, like for example, the Pramod Bhasin, the top bosses, salary would, everybody would wanted to know what is the salary of Pramod Bhasin or Tiger, but you will not get these salaries. Salary was outsourced to a third party. क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. क्वेश्चन है किसी का? Question, if any? If asked MCQ last date of ESI or PF. So whatever we have mentioned is 15th. So there is 15th, but you will see that in the book, it is written over in the books. So whatever is written, so mark this question. I'll answer this question when the time comes. I think in the next class or in the next to next class, the time will come. So that is what. So 15th or 21st, you give me a minute, I will answer this. Uh, 15th of the month. So 15th is the PF and 15th is the ESI. Thanks for pointing out. So 15th of the month is the due date for PF and ESI. Now payroll records includes the following. One is the advice about the employee, about his personal details. Second is the payroll register, what the company has. Third is the PF returns. And fourth is the PF challans. So challan is the amount of money which you deposit and PF return is you fill it up. And fifth is the insurance payment receipts. Whatever the insurance payments, you will collect it and you will deposit this. Sixth is the tax remittance. So there is hello. What you have is the tax remittance. So what you do is you by 7th, the amount is payable by the employer and whatever is deducted is paid to the government authorities. And then is ESIC challans and returns and other related vouchers. So it will include the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 challans, registers, and so on. Okay. So payroll register. The payroll accounting requires the maintenance of payroll register and documents. It is mandated in India by the Employees Provident Fund Act and other labor laws. From the point of view of internal control and audit, it also serves as a voucher. Many organizations term the payroll register as salary acquaintance. So it is equated with salary acquaintance. It forms as a evidence in the court of law. In India, the payroll register and other related documents are preserved by the organization for a minimum period of 5 years. So there can be a question regarding what is the payment register requirement in India. Is it 5 years? Is it 3 years? Is it 7 years? Is it 9 years? So the answer is 5 years. You have to mandatorily maintain the payroll records for 5 years. As a result of computerization, the records can be maintained for a longer period. The particulars that are to be recorded generally in the payroll register are the following. First is the name of the employee, date of joining the organization, date, job title, designation, department, and grade. So the employee is of which grade, that has to be mentioned. Salary particulars such as basic pay, DA, other allowances, and net pay. Mode of payment of salary. What you will get is either by an account transfer or by bank check. Sixth is Provident Fund registration number. So what you will get is the PF registration number that is equated with Social Security number. So whatever is there in US, the law says that the employee must get the Social Security number. So in India, same laws are there. Whatever the employees will get as a number is a Social Security number, and that number is what is called as the PF number. PF number and the Social Security number is the same. Okay. Next is consolidated leave particulars. So what you have, for example, you have taken that 3 leaves in the month of April. You have taken 2 leaves in the month of May. So what you will get is consolidated leaves. So right now this is the month of November. So what you will get is consolidated leaves, how much leaves you have taken and how much is the balance. And the details of deduction such as PF, ESI, tax and other recoveries, etc. There is no prescribed format for maintaining the above particulars. The corporate maintain the particulars based on the operations and the requirement. So there is no fixed format. So company has to maintain a fixed format. There is no requirement, but whatever way the company is maintaining, that is sufficient for you. Many organizations in India maintain a payroll acquaintance in a hard bound register. So company maintains that in a register and the employees are required to affix a revenue stamp. So whenever they get a salary, a check, they have to sign the register on a revenue stamp and acknowledge by signing across the revenue stamp. This is an example of the payroll register. So first is the employee earnings. What we will see is the employee earnings. Next is deductions from the employee earnings. And what you get is the net pay. Okay, and here the person will sign after receiving the check. So illustration 1, you can see here basic salary, DA is 54% of basic. So you will have to calculate 54% here, 54% here, and grade designation mentioned here. House rent allowance, group 1 to group 3 are eligible for HRA of 3,500. Group 4 to group 6 are eligible for HRA 2550. So we'll grade supervisor grade 4. ग्रेड 4 के लिए HR इतना मिलेगा. Deputy manager grade 3 will get HRA of 3,500. So we give a different type of HRA depending upon the grade of the employees. City compensatory allowances. employees are eligible for city compulsory allowance of rupees 500 per month. So this is fixed per month, where every employee will get 500 rupees as city compulsory. Seventh is the medical allowances. So what the employees get is a 450 per month as medical allowances. Employee PF deduction is 12%. Professional tax के लिए group 1 and 2 550, group 3 and 4 350 and group 5 के लिए 150. बना सकते हैं आप? Can you make that illustration 1? Is it easy for you? बताइए बेटा, आप लोगों के लिए इजी है कि नहीं है? You can explain this. Is it easy? Is it difficult? I think it is easy, but you have to tell whether you'll be able to make it or not. चलिए. So they have given this solution. Grade basic, what is given. DA has to be calculated. CCA is fixed irrespective of the grade. HRA is different depending upon the grade. Medical allowance, you can see here what the employees get gross earnings this much, and there is PF and there is professional tax depending upon the grade. So what the employee will get net pay. Okay. Illustration 2 is Smith, an employee of ABC manufacturer, is paid wages. उसकी salary में 70 rupees 25 is the basic salary. The company has a pay policy of payment of wages at twice the normal rate for working on Saturdays, Sundays and holidays. So holiday pay is double the rate, and the company paid him 1.5 times the regular rate for overtime. So what the company pays is 1.5 times the overtime rate, and what the company pays is double on holidays. Smith worked on 22 working days of 8 hours each, 16 overtime hours, and 1 weekend. Whatever is due to him. Normal hours is 22 days into 8 hours. Overtime 70.25 into 1.5, and weekend में double rate होता है. So what we get is 2 hours into 8 hours. 2 days into 8 hours, 16 hours into 70.25 into 2. Explain it once again. Which thing you want me to explain it? Which thing you want me to explain? I can explain this, but you have to ask me which thing you want me to explain. So the controls are two types. One is preventive and other one is deductive. So controls are of two types. One is which prevent those things of not happening. So when you enter a train station or a metro station, the controls, the train or the Delhi Metro or the Bangalore Metro or the Karnataka Metro which you have are following. One is they will check whether you have a raw material or you have something in your pocket by security checking, by frisking you or frisking the material. That is preventive control. Okay. The other is detective control. So at various places you will find the company has installed CCTV cameras which are monitoring the movement, and therein certain checks are there. So whatever wrong you are committing, you are ensuring that the company will catch you. Okay. So controls are of two types. One is the preventive and second is detective. Preventive controls which have been inbuilt in the process so as to enable the smooth and proper functioning of the entire system. Whatever the company has or the metro has or the airport has is preventive. Okay. The preventive controls are inbuilt in the process. So the process of frisking you or the process of checking your luggage is inbuilt in the process. So there's a trolley which you are carrying. In the scanner, they will check what you have in the trolley. So they frisk you, they complete body check you. Okay. Preventive control. Those are preventive controls. And what are detective controls? Those which bypass the preventions. And what you get is detective. For example, the CCTV camera. You are throughout the time you are within the CCTV camera. Okay. So detective controls are those which are introduced to measure the quality of the transactions, operations in the process. It is similar to that of quality check and it helps in detections of errors and rectifications of those errors. Some of the controls to be implemented in payroll accounting are employee key advances, changes to the payroll records. Third is access control. What you can't see, it is visible only by the access control. So you log in by a different name and that name is again not given the access. So for example, an employee of your organization is not eligible to enter the data of the employee. So he is not given the access. Okay. So access is what is given and what is not given is not access. Tracking जो system में देखते हैं that is tracking log. Okay. Time card attendance, automation control, reimbursement of expenses. What you get is reimbursement. So there the controls are there. Recovery and remittance control. So you will see along with the system a 6 type of control a payroll processing has. Any questions, please? Okay, illustration 1, somebody wants me to explain again. For example, the payroll of ABC and Company, a partnership firm based on the following particulars. They have given the particulars. DA is 54% of basic. You calculate 54%, 54%, 54%, 54%, 54%. So you will get this DA and grade is grade 4, grade 3, grade 2, grade 5, grade 5. What you will get is HRA based on the grade. So you will calculate the grade. CCA is fixed per grade, so there the amount is fixed, and medical allowances is fixed, and then is employee PF 12% of basic and professional tax जो भी यहाँ लिखा हुआ है. So you will have to calculate the payroll register for the month of XYZ. So we calculate this and see that question tallies or not. Statutory deductions के लिए आप यदि आप देखेंगे TDS date is 7th of the subsequent month. These dates are very much important. You must take a note of it. At least 2-3 questions might come on the PF or TDS or ESI की date से related. So these dates are very much important for you to answer or pass the exam. Okay. Income tax 7th, provident 15th, ESIC 15th of the subsequent month. What is due in March, you will pay in April. What is due in April, you will pay in May, and so on. Any more for you? Should I explain? Your time is 2 minutes more, so I leave it here. And 2 minutes may you can ask me questions, if any. If there are any questions? Okay, thank you. I'm closing the session. Thanks, bye.